I would say music is more reliable than having a girlfriend. My sound selection is always expressive of the mood and emotion that I'm really intending to express. I actually met Davido in 2022. Played a lot of records that I've made during those periods that I was there. I think he specifically liked this one and, wanted to get on it. And that's how we actually, came about this record. One of those records when you come out of the studio and then you listen to it and you're like, oh my God, I just did a very mad tune. Titanium was one of them. Hey guys, it's your favorite songwriter and producer, and today I'm with Savant on Producer Highlights, and I'm gonna be breaking down Titanium by Davido. Let's get right into it. Music has always been a part of my life. My mom has always had me go to church, and my mom was part of the choir, so she had me always be with her the whole time when she was, doing the choir rehearsals and all of that. So somehow, like, it's always been something that's been instilled in me right from when I was a child, But as I grew to, becoming a man, I eventually started like developing an extraordinary passion for music. And when the time felt right, I started exploring more into it. And that's how I'm here today. And I would say music has really kept me company. And a lot of times when I've actually found myself in the weird circumstances, rough patches in life, but I feel like music has kind of like been my solace. I would say music is more reliable than having a girlfriend for sure. Yeah, I think we're here today, and I like the commitment that I have to music, and I also like the commitment that music has to me. So I actually met Davido in 2022. It's a long story actually, but somehow we got connected, and we flew out to Ghana to record the first album that I worked with him together with, which was the Timeless album. And that was actually amazing. And since then, we've had a good relationship. And on this particular time of life, I was in LA, and then he reached out to me and told me to stay back because he was trying to record his album. And so I linked him in the Airbnb. We've got a very mad Airbnb in Malibu. And then, we were there for a minute, played a lot of records that I've made during those periods that I was there in LA, the records that I've made in those times, definitely. And then he heard, some of them and actually liked them. And I think he specifically liked this one and, wanted to get on it. And that's how we actually, came about this record. One of those records when you come out of the studio and then you listen to it and you're like, oh my God, I just did a very mad tune. Titanium was one of that for me. I think I'd like to say to everyone who's out there actually grinding so hard to be the best that they want to be in this creative space, or if you're specifically a producer, I would say just really stay committed to it. Creating is something that sometimes can be quite overwhelming, but you just have to find a way to like keep developing your mental fortitude to be able to stand through, the tests of whatever mental stress you're gonna, encounter in the process. All right, so with all that being said, let's get right into it. This is my favorite part. Before I actually go forward with, breaking down this bit, I want to give a big shout out to Nick. Nick Pinger. Nick is such an amazing producer. I like the fact that we were able to collaborate and, make this banger together. So we actually started with this chord progression. I kind of liked it. The moment I heard it, I was like, yeah, that can lead up to something good. And then I supported, when I got the stems in the process of the post production, I supported that sound. What I did was to duplicate that particular chord sound, and then I just increased the octave to give it this little feel, like a high presence. Yeah. So together, this is how it sounds. Just to give it a little bit more, Afrobeat expression. We have like a regular Afrobeat count, which is like the cut, cut, cut. Yeah. I kind of like that, and I felt like that was enough to provide like a good structure in which all the layers of the song can build upon. And then what else do we put over here? We put, yeah, the kick came in for sure. already sounding sick. Like with this, I can actually write a full song. You know what I'm saying? And I guess when we actually got to this point, the other writers in the room, we all started like, put some lyrics together and melodies together at this very point. And then we had this particular down here. By yeah, that's like a little percussive thing going on right there, just to support the percussions. See? Yeah, I kind of like that. And with the chords, and then we had the bass, like a soft bass. It's not normal. It's not supposed to happen. And then Nick actually had this soft bass right here. I liked it. I felt like it gave it like a little bit, low presence. That's actually very needed in this particular record. I mean, so far we needed something like that. So having this was, really quite essential. And then we went forward. What else did we do? We put the shakers. And this dude had a shaker in the studio, and he was just like, just recording it manually. And, that's how we're able to get this particular shaker. With the other parts of the percussions and the chord progression, so far, that's what we got. Leading out very nicely. And we did have this particular part of the record that I didn't think it was intended to be there, like an atmospheric sound. Yeah, I think I was trying to record, but for some reason the boys are actually having fun in the background. So like, the noise just kind of like it's what made it. Is what made this particular sound. And I guess we liked it, and we just decided to let it be on the record. So that, you know. And then, very essential for me personally, I like when certain sounds have the capability to express certain emotions. So like I try as much as I can to the best of my capability to make sure like my sound selection is always expressive of the mood and emotion that I'm really intending to express, And for me, like if you listen to more of my productions, you actually realize that I use this particular bass a lot. So these bass, like if you've got a very soulful vocal and you sing on top of a Reese bass, you can actually make anybody cry. So with that together with just all the sounds that I've played so far goes like this. So with that and all the sounds, that's what we got. Then we had this little riser. These are like little feelers that we put to, give it a little bit of like transition effect type thing, because I don't think there's any roll in this record, like drum rolls or anything like that. And so we use a lot of feelers, There's another feeler here, like a saxophone. See that? I like that. That actually came like twice in the whole song, and that was it. There's another like impact thing going on here. Like I feel like using an impact sound is always necessary, like especially like when you go into the hook, or I just feel like it's very quite essential. Like you need to find the right places to put it. One of my favorite sounds on the record is this tap chord. I remember playing this, right? And in my head, I was actually thinking like we needed something that would be bright, but yet still be able to give like a dark expression. There's another thing that Nick is very good at. Like Nick has a way of actually using some specific FX plugins that, he does exceptional shit with it. So with this tap chords, there's a way he was able to make it stutter, right? And this is the stutter effect that he put underneath. By itself, it does sound like nothing, but then like when you play everything in context, you realize like, that's also very essential. This is another favorite part that I like. It's so crazy how we were actually able to get this part, right? Because I was like, okay, we needed like a chop thing going on over there. I didn't know specifically what to do. I mean, we were just kind of like just figuring out what to do. And then I suggested the melody, and Nick was like, yo, record it. And then I was like, do 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 do. And then he added some effect, and that's how we got this. So that was my vocals. So in case you're actually looking for like my vocals, like my vocal chops, hit me up. I'm your guy. I got you on that one. So in context, with a bit, goes like this. I really liked it. And then there's this little supportive thing here. The idea was to support the part that goes like, you can try, but you won't break me down, down, down. But, you can try, but you won't break me down, down, down. So that's how it's just like a little thing just going down like underneath. You probably might not really hear it as much, but one thing I try to do with my music production is to try to put certain elements in the beat where you might not be able to hear it, but you can feel it. I try as much as I can to make sure, like, when I do the conscious things, I also do the subconscious things as well. So the certain sounds here, like, you probably might not be able to hear them, like, consciously, but I do feel like on the subconscious level, you're able to hear them. So pretty much with everything that I've played so far, when I put them all together, they pretty much sound like this. Actually, sounding amazing so far. And there are actually some more elements here that, were definitely fillers. Just little things going on in the background to just, kind of like adding to the spice, the whole vibe. We have this particular sound. It's like a shaker. Like that one. Then I had this little like transitioning thing going on here. With that and this other guy right here. And then this part, I like this part. Now with the Reese bass and this, just hear how it feels. Like anything you slap the Reese bass on, it just gives it such a very nice emotional expression. I like that about Reese basses. Yeah, and that with this other percussion. Forgetting to put this guy. Way. Yeah. Then this is this part where it goes like down, 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 down. So in this part, I actually added this little thing to support. It's like a bell sound. I usually, because I used to play in church a lot, right? And we usually use the sound like I feel like it gives it more like heavenly expression, or like I don't know, there's just something about it that makes it sound churchy. So I wanted to, incorporate that into this. And then this little thing going down in the background, so nice. Like I say, like there's certain things that I try to put in like my beats. You might not necessarily hear them, but like they're definitely doing something in the background where like on the subconscious level you feel it. So I definitely try as much as I can to make sure those things are always there. You know, yeah. So pretty much that's all the necessary elements that was on the beat, and then we had Davido drop his amazing vocals, and it pretty much sounded like this. Titanium, and I hope that you really like it. Motivate you, to make you keep going, to make you keep understanding that you've been through harder situations in the past before, so there's nothing that's going to be in front of your face that you don't have the capabilities to overcome. So I hope the song keeps blessing you as much as it keeps blessing me. Like love in the summer. Okay, I think I got one. This is perfectly it. First beat I made this year. Cannot even remember. Let me think. Let me think. Let me think. That one hard to. It's kind of hard to actually remember properly. First beat I made this year. Okay, let me go to my 2025 folder. Let me see. Alright. So first beat I made in 2025. Here it goes. Okay, guys, and that was the breakdown of Titanium by Davido. I hope you really liked it, and you definitely need to stay tuned because I've got my debut project as an artist coming out soon, and that's gonna be like magical tunes. So I hope you stay tuned for that one, and I hope to catch you guys soon, around, anywhere, everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Jonn P.